Hello friends, this video on NEET Biotechnology is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Question number 1. In vitro clonal propagation in plants is characterized by PCR and RAPD, northern blotting, electrophoresis and HPLC, microscopy. Now let us look at each of the options one by one. So let's start with the last option. So option D is microscopy. So microscopy is nothing but using a microscope to see extremely small objects. So obviously that would not be the right option, because here we are talking about clonal propagation of plants. So obviously that's not the correct option. Now let's move on to option C, which is electrophoresis and HPLC. What is HPLC? So HPLC stands for high performance liquid chromatography. High performance liquid chromatography. And what does this do? So this is a technique which is used to separate, identify and quantify each component in a mixture. So when you have a mixture made up of multiple components and you want to kind of identify each component or separate the components, that's when you make use of chromatography. And this is high performance liquid chromatography. So here we are not doing anything like that. So this is also not the right option. Now let's move on to option B, northern blotting. So this is the technique which is used to study gene expression by detecting the RNA in a sample. So this technique, that is northern blotting, often uses electrophoresis to separate the RNA samples by size. Now why do we call this northern blotting? Because of the capillary transfer of RNA from electrophoresis gel to the blotting membrane. So from that blotting membrane we got the term blot, and that's why it's called northern blotting. And where do we use northern blotting? So this is normally used to observe a particular gene's expression pattern between tissues, organs, pathogen infection, and maybe during the course of a treatment. So it basically shows the expression of genes. For example, in case of a patient suffering from cancer. So this method, this technique can actually show the overexpression of the oncogenes, that is the cancer causing genes. So northern blotting is all about gene expression. So again, this is also not the right option. And let's finally look at option A. Now it's very obvious that this would be the right option. So what is RAPD? So RAPD stands for random amplified polymorphic DNA. So what is this? So here the DNA fragment, these are the DNA fragments which are amplified by the PCR technique. PCR is polymerase chain reaction. So this PCR and RAPD technique is used for plant diversity studies. That is, it is an easy way to assign known or unknown plant taxa. So basically, whenever you have some sample of plants and you want to know more details about that particular sample, you can make use of this PCR and RAPD technique. So here the correct option would be A. Question number 2. Which vector can clone only a small fragment of DNA? Bacterial artificial chromosome, yeast artificial chromosome, plasmid or cosmid? Okay, let's look at each of these one by one. So we'll start with bacterial artificial chromosome, which is often abbreviated as BAC. So BAC can clone large DNA fragments up to 350 kb in size. So, you know, they actually clone quite large fragments of DNA. So, BAC is a DNA construct which is based on the F plasmid, and they are used for transforming and cloning in bacteria. Now, let's move on to the next one, that is yeast artificial chromosome. So, this also clones large DNA fragments. In fact, they clone larger DNA fragments. I mean, even larger than the bacterial artificial chromosome, up to 3000 kb in size. So you see, this is even bigger. Now let's move on to plasmid. Okay, before that, what is this yeast artificial chromosome? It is a genetically engineered chromosome which is derived from the DNA of yeast, Saccharomyces cerevisiae. So that's yeast artificial chromosome. Now let's move on to plasmid. So plasmid generally can clone DNA insert up to 15 kb in size. So this one is quite small, isn't it? So it can clone small fragments of DNA. And when you talk about plasmids, what are they? They are small DNA molecules within a cell which are physically separated from the chromosomal DNA. And plasmids have the capability to replicate independently. So that's another important characteristic of plasmid. Now the fourth option, which is cosmid. So cosmid can clone slightly larger DNA fragments up to 28 to 45 kb in size. So now if you look at the sizes of the DNA fragments which each of these options are capable of cloning, you see the smallest one is for plasmid. So therefore the right option is C. Question number 3. The colonies of recombinant bacteria appear white in contrast to blue colonies of non-recombinant bacteria because of non-recombinant bacteria containing beta-galactosidase, insertional inactivation of alpha-galactosidase in non-recombinant bacteria, insertional inactivation of alpha-galactosidase in recombinant bacteria, inactivation of glycosidase enzyme in recombinant bacteria. Okay, let us first try to understand what's happening. So it is saying that in the colony of recombinant bacteria, some of them are white while the others are blue. So the blue color is for the non-recombinant bacteria and the white is for the recombinant ones. So why do we have this difference in color? So let's first try to understand that how is this color getting produced. So the color is produced due to the presence of a chromogenic substance. A substance which is capable of producing color. Now, a recombinant DNA is inserted in the coding sequence of an enzyme, alpha-galactosidase, that causes inactivation of that enzyme. Basically, what is happening during the recombination, that enzyme or that substance which is chromogenic in nature, that substance is getting inactivated. So what is happening? The substance which was producing color, that substance itself got inactivated. So therefore the color is not getting produced and therefore the recombinant bacteria, they appear white because there is no color. And this concept or this entire phenomenon is known as insertional inactivation. So you see the name itself explains the entire concept. Insertional because during recombination, what happens? A foreign DNA is inserted in the coding sequence of the enzyme alpha-galactosidase. So that's why insertional. Inactivation because the chromogenic substance or that particular enzyme which brings about the color, that enzyme is getting inactivated. So that's why the concept is insertional inactivation. So when the insert is present, in that case, the color is inactivated. Therefore, the color is white. When the insert is absent, then the color producing substance is activated and therefore the color is blue. So now you understand why the non-recombinants are blue and the recombinants are white. So now out of these options, which is the correct option? So obviously insertional inactivation of alpha-galactosidase in recombinant bacteria, because in recombinant bacteria the inactivation is happening and that is why the recombinant bacteria are white in color. So there is no inactivation happening in non-recombinant bacteria because they are still blue in color. That means the chromogenic substance is not getting inactivated in case of non-recombinant bacteria. So C would be the right option. Question number 4. Question number 5. Which one is a true statement regarding DNA polymerase used in PCR? Now, PCR stands for polymerase chain reaction. It is used to ligate introduced DNA in recipient cells. It serves as a selectable marker. It is isolated from a virus. It remains active at high temperature. So let us look at each of the options one by one. So option A, it is used to ligate introduced DNA in recipient cells. So that is not correct, because the purpose of DNA polymerase is not to ligate. Its purpose is to amplify a particular DNA segment, or in vitro synthesis of multiple gene copies. So its purpose is to amplify and not to ligate. Second option is it serves as a selectable marker. Now, what is a selectable marker? It is a gene that is introduced into a cell that confers a trait for artificial selection. So, mostly the antibiotic resistant genes like ampicillin or tetracycline, they are selectable markers. They act as selectable markers. So, obviously DNA polymerase is not a selectable marker. Third option is it is isolated from a virus. That is also incorrect, because it is isolated from a bacteria called Thermus aquaticus. So Thermus aquaticus is the bacteria from which DNA polymerase is isolated. Fourth option, it remains active at high temperature. Yes, this one is the right option. Thank you. Please visit examfear.com for free quality education. You can learn with a simple 4-step learning process wherein you can watch video lessons, you can ask your questions, you can refer notes, and you can take a free online test. We have content for class 6 to 12 on physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biology along with practical videos. So please subscribe to our channel for daily updates. Thank you.